Our employees page is almost done, but we need to add some of the minor details. For example, if I click on the add employee button, I need a pop-up which shows up the details to add in for the employee. Let's see how we can do that. So I'm gonna get to the code here, and you can see that this is my sidebar, and this is the add employee. So basically it's a link for now, and when I click on this, I need a model to show up, and inside that I can add all the form details of the user. For example, his name, email ID, phone number, or in which job he is been located in, and stuff like that. So let's see how we can do that. So in order to do that, we need a model. So let's look for models, and here we are. So first thing is that we need to get the model. So I'm going to take this one. This is the model. I'm just going to copy this and let's add it in our code. I'm going to add it in the footer just to check how it works. Let's paste it and let's get to the browser. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so we have the button. If I click on this, we get the model. So this is the exact same functionality which I need. So the first thing is that this is the button. So we already have this as an anchor tag. Now what we need is this. So I'm just going to copy this, and in my sidebar over here, which has an anchor tag, I'm going to add it over here. Now you can see that the data target is example model. I'm going to change this to add underscore employee. Save that. Okay, and here I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm going to use this again. So here now we don't need this, so I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to get rid of this one too, and this is the model which came up with Bootstrap, and I'm going to use this one. So you can see that we have this ID here. I'm going to replace with this one, and also I'm going to replace with this one. Okay, so these are the stuff. Let's get back here. Let's hit refresh. So now if I click on add employee, I'll get a model here. So instead of showing model title, I'm going to give this here as add employee details. I'm going to add a form. So let's get back to our code, and here what we're going to do is instead of model title, I'm going to change this to add employee details. Okay, and we have the model body. I don't need the model footer for now, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Let's check that out. Let's add this one. Okay, so we have only 3 dots here, so instead of that we need to add the forms. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to add a form tag, and inside that I'm going to add a div dot margin bottom. I'm going to add as 3, and inside that we'll say input, type is text, so class is form control, and we need it to be small, so I'm just going to copy this and sm. Okay, and I give a placeholder. I'm going to call this as employee name. Okay, and this has to be required because this is important. And let's get back to our page. Let's hit refresh. Let's click on this add employee. Now you can see that we have a form where we can fill in all the details of that employee. So we have the employee name. The next one we need is email ID. So I'm just going to copy this, then paste it over here. I'm going to call this as email. The placeholder is going to be employee email ID. Okay, I'm going to add another one where we can add the phone number. So call this as TEL, and it's going to be employee phone number. Okay, save that. And next one we need a job. So I'm just going to paste it over here, and instead of the input field, now this time I'm going to use a select field. So it says select. We don't need a name for now, so I don't need an ID too. So all I need is a class with the form control. Okay, so we already have this here. I'm just going to copy this, then paste it over here. Okay, and inside this, what we need is some options. Now, when you're creating this with CodeIgniter, Laravel, or Python, or Django, or anything, something like that, these data are gonna pull up dynamically from the database. But for now, I'm gonna add it just manually here. So I need to specify some value. So I'll give this value as graphic designer. Okay, I'm going to give the same thing over here, that is for the display purpose. Okay, I duplicate that, and then we have web designer, then we have web developer. Just gonna copy this one, just paste it over here. For now, I'm gonna give just 3 as an example, but when you're building a project, you can add as many jobs as you like. So I'll save that. Let's get to the browser, let's hit refresh. Okay, I'm gonna click on add employee. You can see that we get all the details, and we also have the drop down. And here I need a button where I can add in the details. So I'm gonna add another div. I'm just gonna copy this one. Okay, paste it over here, and instead of this, I'm gonna give a button, and call this as type is submit, and the class is btn, btnsn, btn success, and I'll call this as btn block. So I'm gonna call this add new employee. Let's save this. Okay, let's hit refresh. Now if I click on an employee, you can see that we can add all these details. Yeah, we need to also add a date option, for example the joining date of the employee. So I'm gonna add that one. Just copy this and paste it over here, and this is gonna become date. Okay, we don't need a placeholder for this. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Let's save that. Let's get back over here. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so we have the date, so the employee can select the date and then the name, email ID, phone number. Click on add new employee, or you can close this button over here. Now, as you can see that the list group items kind of looks pretty big. Let me test it. So if you can make it a bit smaller, that would be much better. So I'm going to call this as small. Oh yeah, that does look better. So I'm going to get back to the code. Now I can see that we have dash here. In dash, I don't think we have anything. Employees list is where we can add more details. So here, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the list group item, which is over here. I'm going to call this as small. Let's do the same thing for our table. Call this as small. Save that. And now let's hit refresh. Okay, that looks much more compact than before now. So if I click on this, I can get all these details here. Okay, and when I click on view employees, currently nothing happens, but it should redirect back to the employees list. So we have view employees here, so I'm going to redirect this back to employees list. So hit refresh. Okay, so that's going to get me back to over here, and we have add employee where I can add all the details.